Just take the phone and scan.
Where is good? Box.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Burger.
Welcome to it.
Okay, UK burgers. Zero.
From this particular program. My name is Judith Brown. I'm a broadcast journalist and I'll be your host for this morning. We're already way behind time, so we're going to start right with the program. And
Yes. Civil society and think tanks, youth groups, our media friends who are here to graciously cover today's events for us, distinguished invited guests, the youth of Ghana who we represent, ladies and gentlemen. As Minister responsible for youth development and empowerment, I am obliged to initiate conversations about how our teeming youth are faring in this country. It is my considered view that this will enable us collectively develop appropriate policy responses to inspire, equip, and empower the youth of Ghana to unleash their full potential for national development and global competitiveness. This is central to His Excellency President Mohammed's reset agenda because the youth of our country represent not only our present strength, but also the foundation on which we build a resilient, productive, and inclusive society. Today, we share a clear data-driven picture of where Ghana's youth stand and the required steps our government seeks to implement collaboratively with all our partners to ensure progress and address key challenges. The journey to unlock the full potential of Ghanaian youth is hinged on 5 strategic pillars, namely health and well-being, education and skills training, economic empowerment, civic engagement and community participation, and the last, personal development and leadership. These central pillars are the fulcrum around which key youth-centric government policies revolve. At this stage has been observed to disrupt the transition into independence The consequences may include early exit from school, addiction, depression, campus violence, and it also leads to unemployment because once he's not productive, he cannot find himself employed by anyone. This stage shapes the nation's workforce. Therefore, protecting it is a national imperative. Our data also revealed that 8% of early drug users are 20 and above. So you realize that the data is bigger for the younger ages, but the more they grow, because they've already been exposed. So in their older ages, very few people move into drug abuse and substance abuse. The campus surveys indicate that 86% of students can easily access alcohol, whilst weed edibles, 59%, marijuana, 53%, also widely available. Additionally, 12% report awarenesses of hard drugs like cocaine and heroin, showing that substance use is a very significant issue on our campuses. Our school authorities are addressing these challenges with responsive measures. Research shows that 36% of academic institutions offer counseling, peer support, drug awareness programs, random checks, and referrals. Despite these efforts, the challenge remains significant and requires national coordination, investment, and collaboration across sectors. 36% is inadequate, and so we must do more. If all that is available on our campuses is 36%, then collectively as a country, we must begin to look at our educational institutions critically because a lot of our young people at that stage of their lives are in schools. And so that is when we need more counseling services to support whatever they go through. Well, 12% of fatalities were under 18 years, whilst 88% were adults, suggesting youth remain disproportionately vulnerable. Sorry. And like I was saying, because a lot of our young people are riding Okadas, realize that the data suggests it. And so this Okada business is something that we must all begin to have a second conversation about. Because if you are getting 1,937 road deaths, and out of that, 77% are young people, it leaves us with the question of what is happening to our labor force if we are losing all these people at this age. The discussion of youth health and well-being would be incomplete without addressing matters pertaining to HIV and AIDS and sexual health. Notably, in 2023, 27.4% of the 17,774 new reported infections occurred among the youth population. Furthermore, the incidence rate of sexually transmitted infections increased by 32% in 2024. Of particular concern is the observed decline in testing rates amongst young people, which is a trend that requires immediate attention. Now that US aid is gone, it looks like the health authorities will have to help us do more in that regard. This reported annually, and a 19% prevalence among girls aged between 15 and 19, high rates of teenage pregnancies, and limited access to sexual and reproductive health services expose many young people to risk such as maternal complications and disrupted education, threatening their future ambitions. Distinguished guests, members of the media, I would now like to address the topic of youth civic engagement and participation. Civic engagement encompasses the proactive involvement of citizens, especially young individuals, in activities that advance the political, social, and economic welfare of their communities, and then the nation as a whole. The Foundation for Civic Participation is established in Article 21 of the 1992 Constitution, which affirms every citizen's right to participate in governance. Civic engagement takes various forms, each contributing meaningfully to both community and national progress. For Ghanaian youth, civic engagement involves political participation, including the exercise of voting rights, involvement in policy dialogue, and serving in public office. Advocacy and activism, which entails raising awareness and mobilizing support around critical issues such as human rights, gender equality, and environmental sustainability. Community service and volunteerism manifested through initiatives like cleanups, campaigns, tree planting, health outreach programs, and educational mentorship. With young people constituting 38% of Ghana's population, they represent a dynamic segment capable of propelling national development. Their engagement is evident in areas such as public consultation and dialogue, digital and online engagement, social innovation and entrepreneurship, civic education and awareness campaigns. Nevertheless, the extent of youth participation varies significantly across regions and social groups, reflecting differences in access opportunities and motivation. Nearly half of the country's youth are actively involved in voluntary activities, demonstrating a robust culture of community involvement and social responsibility. This high level of engagement underscores the youth's commitment to contributing their time, expertise, and resources to both national and local development. Youth-led civic movements, including groups like Fix the Country, Youth for Change, the Bar Stop Boys, have exhibited robust informal civic engagement with a focus on accountability, environmental protection, and governance reforms. Additionally, other youth activists and volunteers play substantial roles in activities such as election observations, making meaningful contributions to democratic processes by monitoring electoral processes and practices. Recognize merits and ensure equal opportunities for all, regardless of gender or background. These ambitions, grounded in hope, resilience, and creativity, not only reflect the goals of the younger generation, but also serves as a catalyst for Ghanaians' pursuit of inclusive and sustainable development. These endeavors align with President Mohamed's vision for a 24-hour economy, which aims to generate continuous employment, promote innovation, and enhance productivity. This flagship initiative, spearheaded by President John Dramani Mahama, seeks to transform the country's productivity framework by extending economic activities beyond traditional hours and integrating key sectors within a cohesive value chain. This section examines initiatives related to education, skills development, and the economic advancement of youth in Ghana. Education and skills development are central components of Ghana's national development agenda. There has been progress in increasing access to education and improving learning outcomes. Nonetheless, available data on youth indicate areas that require further attention and targeted strategies. According to the 2021 Population and Housing Census, the national literacy rate is 68%. Approximately half of Ghanaian youth have either no formal or only basic education. That is at 49.7%. The youth literacy rate, as reported by the 2015 Labor Force Survey and the Annual Household Income Expenditure Survey 2022 to 2024, is 96.1%. Whilst this reflects high literacy base among young people, it also highlights the importance of enhancing opportunities for higher education and advanced skills development. That is where it looks like our focus. So as a country, we must begin to shift focus and begin to look at TVET more seriously. Because we all know that it is within that sector that you can easily find employment. In 2015, 70% of young Ghanaians in secondary school or higher education were in humanities and social sciences, with only 23% in STEM fields. Once again, where the focus is wrong. Because it is in STEM education that there are better and more opportunities than the humanities. We are not saying humanities are not important, but we all know how choked the humanities sectors are. And so we need to begin to have a rethink as a country where we need to focus our efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, another area of concern is apprenticeship training. Participation among our youth has remained low and has declined over the years. Apprenticeship remains particularly limited among younger youth aged between 15 and 24, although there has been modest increase in secondary level apprenticeship enrollment between 2015 and 2024. Strengthening partnership with industries and the informal sector, that is, master craftsmen, will be critical in reversing this trend and providing practical skills and decent employment. And I believe that when they start the panel discussions and they delve more into the findings, you realize that people who go through apprenticeship easily find jobs. They are easily employable than those who go through our, let me call it again, grammar education. And so we need to look at our needs well and where we can create the real jobs for our people and where we should put our investments. Over the years, Ghana has and are there. Their data will be there for you to assess. If we say NYA has engaged 10,000, you will see. We tell you that Ghana Enterprise Agency has employed 5,000, the data will be there, their details will be there, and we can independently verify so that we see the progress we are making as a country. Today's focus is to encourage the Ghanaian youth and to assure you that President John Mohammed's government is committed to closing gaps and creating opportunities for your success. The Ministry of Youth Development is seeking stronger collaboration with our development partners to support programs aligned with the needs of our people. To our development partners, it's a passionate appeal we are making to you. This is our country. So when you are bringing in your money to help us, we want to sit down with you so that we tell you which critical areas that we need development in. We don't expect you to design your programs from wherever and bring them to us. We are doing the needs assessment of our people, and we believe strongly that we want to collaborate and work with you so that we are able to address the problems that really affect us. What may be a problem in Accra, in an urban center, may not be the same problem in a rural community. And so if we work together with you, we'll be able to address the challenges and we'll send development and programs to the areas that are most needed. A lot of money has been thrown out in the last 10 to 12 years, all in the name of youth development. We intend to streamline that sector so we don't waste resources anymore. Every dollar must be put to good use. Every dollar must be accounted for. Every dollar must transform and change the life of a young person. And that the ministry is committed in doing.
And of course, we're going to be having solution-driven conversations with some of the researchers. We know that the State of the Youth Address was heavily backed by research, and most of them are here with us. We'll have a brief discussion with them, and then we'll give you the chance to also ask some questions as and when we're done with that. So I'd like the place to be set up now for the panel discussion. And as the place is being set up, just give you a wrap of some of the important things that the minister highlighted. It was on 5 interconnected pillars, being health and well-being, education and skills training, economic empowerment, civic engagement and community participation, as well as personal development and leadership. These were the 5 key thematic areas that were mentioned by the minister. And of course, in terms of the state of the Ghanaian youth, he mentioned some very important things that we should be quite worried about. He talked about the rising mental health disorders, being depression, anxiety, substance abuse as well. High road traffic fatalities, particularly among males aged 20 to 29. Increased HIV infections, that's about 27.4% of new cases among the youth. He spoke about the escalating gaming and screen addictions, as well as the presently high teenage pregnancy, over 100,000 cases yearly, and 19% prevalence among girls between the ages of 15 and 19. And so these are some of the key things that have been mentioned. Of course, there are a lot of things the ministry is doing to try and eradicate some of the issues that we're facing. But we're going to be having some very important solution-driven conversations with some of our researchers. And so I'm going to invite the panelists onto the stage now.
Differences in the data as far as these institutions are concerned, but they run differently. And also, in some cases, the location of the university or the institution pointed to some kind of worrying development, especially those that are centered around central business area of Accra. and the community in which they are located. It tends to point out some certain development that I think it makes sense if you understand the area very well.
Yes, I'm coming, I'm coming.
All you, we are taking one last picture with the minister.